I now give the floor to Alfonso. He's the marketing and sales director, for PharmaMar. PharmaMar is a model in our bio-marine industry. They are very well performing, and it's interesting. Listen to that, but it's a unique model. It's pharmaceutical using, the ingredients for marine components, and it's a long-term development R&D research. He will explain that to you, and we come back to a question for him.
Thank you, Pierre. Mr. Chairman, ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much for your attention, and first of all, thank you to the organizers for inviting us to talk about what we see as an example of one of the things, the good things that the sea can give to the humankind, and in this specific aspect related to the health. I'm here presenting to you our company, PharmaMar, and if I had to define our company, it's very easy to do, because there are two words that do it perfectly. One is the sea, and the other one is pharma and cancer. We dedicate all our efforts to the drug discovery, drug development, production and commercialization of anti-cancer drugs only, and that come originally from the sea or derived from original structures found in the sea. PharmaMar belongs to the Celtia group, and within this group there are two kinds of companies, the consumer chemicals and the biotechnology. Obviously, the role of the consumer chemicals, especially in the past, was a lot of help in order to develop the biotechnological part of the group. Within the biotechnology companies, we have 4 different companies. PharmaMar, which is the most advanced company within this group in terms of products, because we have already a product on the market. Then we have Nosera, which is another company, working in the looking for solutions for central nervous system and other neurodegenerative diseases, using the same platform from PharmaMar, that means the marine samples. We have Genomica, they market genetic tests, and we have Scientis, which is the most recently created company, and they are working in the silencing of the RNA of interference. So let's focus now on PharmaMar. PharmaMar was founded in '86, and well, our mission I have already explained to you. I will dedicate the next couple of minutes to talk about the processes, how do we do things, and finally to present to you the result of this development work. We are the first company in the world bringing a product to the market based on an anti-tumor drug based on a substance found in the sea. Why the sea? Well, this is the result of a vision, obviously, but there are a lot of objective factors here for the decision. The first question maybe is the why nature? And nature is today still a source of a lot of solutions for healthcare purposes. I saw recently a statistic talking about the number of approvals by the FDA in the last 2 decades, and about 1/2 of these approvals were either based or derived or inspired in somehow the natural source. So still the natural source is a very important one for drugs and for medicines. Pliny the Old said it already, by the way, many years before Christ, and said that nature has put drugs everywhere. But why the sea? My previous colleague was talking about the biodiversity, and it is true. The chances of finding something in the sea are, in principle, bigger, because what you are looking for is biodiversity in order to find chemical diversity, and in order to increase the chances of finding some substance active in the fight against cancer. In the in cancer world, there are many good examples of natural products in the market. The vinca alkaloids, the antibiotics coming from fungi, and the taxanes, and many other drugs that today are cornerstone in the treatment of cancer come from nature, but all of them coming from the earth, from land. So the sea has a great biodiversity, as we have seen today already, and the fact is that many of the substances that you find in these marine macro or microorganisms have very complicated structures, very complicated ones, and therefore you are facing sometimes some developmental challenges over there that you have to overcome. Today we have in the company 5 compounds in clinical development. One of them is already on the market. I will talk about that. And all of them have new, unknown, and totally innovative mechanisms of action. So there is something true behind the decision of looking into the sea. How do we do that? Very clear. We make selective sampling of macro and microorganisms in the sea. We have a team of scuba divers, marine biologists, all of them, and we make selective sampling of marine organisms. We do it on worldwide basis, and normally we take the size of the sample we take is about 60 grams, 60 to 100 grams. That means we just need a little bit of these organisms. We don't need really to destroy the environment. And this is as you can imagine, to organize such expedition is facing a lot of logistical challenges. Many of you are experts in these kind of things. So you can imagine that sampling in Kenya is not necessarily something very easy. There is a lot of course, of paperwork behind, a lot of permissions, a lot of contracts to sign with the local universities, etc. And then you have to transport the sample to the company at minus 30 degrees, which is sometimes also a challenge. We have today a collection of more than 100,000 marine samples, and this is the biggest in the world. And actually, we sometimes, from time to time, we help discovering new organisms. You will find some of the sponges called, for instance, Cytospongia pharmamaris, and the others. So next steps in the lab, and here what we are trying to do is we look for antitumoral activity. And we put these extracts of the samples against a number of cell cultures in vitro, and then we measure if these extracts have any antitumoral activity, in which way they affect the growth or they kill, actually, the different cell cultures. And then if we find activity, then all the process of drug development starts. First of all, medicinal chemistry is a very important step. I would say this is one of the most important things in the process. And our colleagues from the medical chemistry team have different objectives. First of all, to identify the substance which is responsible of the antitumoral activity, because we are not working with the extracts. We need to identify.
1 minute to go.
Yeah, the structure, and then afterwards we have to develop a synthesis process in order to avoid coming back to the sea to obtain more of the original sample. So after this, we go for the protection of our intellectual property. This is very important if you are going to market a product, to be protected. And actually, these are the 3 main reasons or parameters we use in order to say a go or not go. To have activity, of course, to have a synthesis process, and to have something that is patentable. The production, we try to make the last steps of the production of the active ingredient in our facilities, and then we also have a number of agreements with companies that make the vialization for us. Clinical trials, today in oncology there is no other way that make international clinical trials. They are not only European or American, they are really multinational, and we do that in case we have partnered our product with another company in conjunction with our
Alfonso,
partner.
can you wrap up, please?
Finally, we go to the MEA, and if you, because we concentrate in Europe, and if we are lucky, then we have finally the approval. And last but not least, you have to have in place all over Europe some commercial and distribution structure that makes possible the use of the drug in any of the hospitals of the European Union. Well, this is finally the result of all this work. We have we have now 4 compounds in clinical development. The first one is Jondelis, coming from an invertebrate, a tunicate, Ecteinastheria turbinata, and is already approved for the treatment of a terrible form of cancer, which is soft tissue sarcoma, and more recently in 2009 for the treatment of recurrent ovarian cancer. And the thing continues, and I thank you for your attention.
Thank you very much. I really appreciate it, because it's a tough job, you know, to try to explain marine bioresources in such a time. I really hope that you get a glimpse of what is, you know, at stake. It's a huge word. We didn't mention, you know, aquaculture, you know, aquafeed, which is a booming sector. There's so much to say. I hope you can join us, you know, if you want to do business in that area, you know, in London in October next. Be my guest. Thank you very much. I appreciate it. I have no time to take any questions. Sorry for that.